entertain a motion for agenda approval.
I would move to approve the agenda.
Yeah. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Cool. Let's move on to minutes approval. Do you guys need a second to look over these?
I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
I'd second.
Alright, we've been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Cool. Public comments.
Nope.
Cool, moving right along then. Old business, strategic plan review.
So this is the big chunk. So what happened was last time we talked about me sip and playing this a little bit. So let's see if we can find the zoom button. Wouldn't that be ideal? Yeah. Okay. I don't know why it's going that direction, but oh well. That's fine. Okay, so what happened, what changed was, what is happening? Okay, there we go. So Ricky did this a long time ago, and she put in a lot of directions, like, commissioners, write this in this section. So I took all that out, right? And then I basically just cleaned it up, because the Parks Master Plan is more about kind of a little bit of background, who participated, and then what the priorities are. So the first section is just like kind of the legal lingo about what the Arts Commission is, and who it's made up of, and the background information on which ordinance created it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then we come down to the goals and objectives, which is the meat of what we need to work on tonight. What I did was there were a lot of little dashes, like the blue right there, and some of the colors I took out, and I took away some of the dashes. Because in the end, the goal is to have goal number 1, which is in place, done, and then the objectives need to be fleshed out tonight. So it says at the top, the little background there, that in 2024, there was a survey conducted with 80 responses, and the following strategic goals and objectives were established based on those responses. So if you look at the outdoor venue, it is probably more of a long-term goal, obviously, but there are some things, and these aren't organized, they're just put in their place for now. They're not organized in order at all, chronologically. So what you see is objective number 1, obviously create a local space where organizations can present their performance art. Number 2 is develop a shovel-ready plan by working with Parks and Rec Advisory Commission and staff. The reason that is with PRAC is because it's going to be in a park, probably. If it's going to be in a park, it needs to go through PRAC and City Council. If it's not in a park, then it doesn't.
Is it easier to get funding also if it's a dual commission endeavor?
Maybe not commission, but like in a park, because of all the outdoor recreation funding, which this would qualify for. So yes. Objective 3, obtain funding through local, state, federal, and foundation sources. And then I just stuck these in. I cleaned up the objectives part, but I just stuck these in. The bid package for local contractors comes later. It's kind of the same as shovel-ready project, but the bid package actually, when you have your shovel-ready project and you put it in a bid package and send it out to bid, so the contractors can give you prices back. Right, that's kind of that step. And then budget for construction of outdoor space, depending on company bids. Most similar cities have put outdoor performance venues, large grants. You can see the big dollars there, between $250,000 and $2 million. That somebody added. I don't know who was blue, but those aren't my words. So given those things up there, I would love to have some feedback and clean that up a little bit more. The other step, so we know that this is a priority because of the survey, but it's also a huge project. So it probably needs to have more than 80 people weigh in on it. So I would like to entertain adding something to the effect of some sort of advertising campaign or marketing, some sort of outreach, that's what we'll call it, outreach into the Grande, specifically for this project, to garner support or not, to verify that those 80 responses are true. Because I would hate to work for $1 million and then have it not be supported on a widespread level. So if that's okay with you guys, I want to add something like that. Outreach efforts.
Would that be kind of similar to the like focus groups that we did for master plan?
Yeah.
Well, and at the fair last year, we had the QR code so that, you know, people could weigh in that way too.
Yeah.
We
so
could do that
could
again.
be QR code, fair, that could be focus groups, we'll clean this up later. Any other ideas for outreach efforts? Obviously media,
Farmers market,
nice.
crazy days.
Is this something
Crazy days in the farmers market would be fabulous.
Is this something
Oh,
we
yeah.
want to get input specifically from performance art groups too? Or is this more of like a does the public want it?
I think it's everything. What do you think? What were you gonna
I
say?
think it's more to see if the public wants it, because that's a huge one. When we initially did the creative conversations, it was something that we had listed in a 25 years. So, you know, that would be like $1 million project, and I think we need to get as much public input as possible,
Yeah.
because,
I
like
think-
you said, we don't want to go for $1 million and then have to do like Island City and give it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that definitely the public input is what
What do
we're
you
looking
think,
for
Corey?
at this point the most. Performance artists, though, I think would be good to consult as we're determining like what the
Design.
venue
Yeah.
is going
Yeah.
to do, to make sure they'll want to use it.
Yeah, that kind of brings
And,
me to.
you know, where are we going to put it?
That brings me to
Huh?
my point,
So
and this
probably
isn't a big thing, Stu, but performing arts, performing
Oh,
artists,
just now.
performance art is a thing. It's a thing. It's not what we're talking about here. Does that make sense? It's people who coat themselves in honey and you know that.
Okay,
So
okay.
I think we want performing artists.
How about
the
a
performing
outdoor art, outdoor?
Are you
Art- saying
instead of performance, it's
Yes,
performing?
yes. The performing
Oh,
arts.
yeah,
Yes,
good catch,
not
good catch.
performance.
Oh,
art.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
I think-
performance art could be anything.
Well, not really, but yes,
Okay.
it's a more specific term
Mhm.
because performing arts could also be performance art, but performance art is very
Okay,
particular.
Okay, good.
thing.
that's good.
And I don't want that throwing people off, especially if you're doing a survey and they're well, we're not having performance art.
Mhm.
You know, it gets that. So like,
But
Sure, survey isn't on here, that's a good idea. Let's see. public
it's
input.
weird, but I've always had this idea of doing something along the lines of like the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, some sort of concrete or structure
Mhm.
that has some sort of a.
You know,
projection
with the
element.
grass leading down to it, and
Yeah.
yeah. I even have a name for it.
Okay. Hey, anything else you guys think of with that one? That's
And I think that should be our big push this year. Is anywhere and everywhere we're talking about it, getting input about it.
yeah. Well, let's wait till we get through all of them, and then we can maybe make that kind of timeline. Okay, so this one is murals downtown. Well, not necessarily downtown. It just says maintain murals and paint murals.
That's a
on
tough
the
one
buildings.
because most of the murals are in the historic district, and that's a whole other kettle of fish. That one will take some time.
Is
If
that
they're already established, they can be maintained and repainted without any restrictions. So if they're already painted.
Not according to the Landmarks Commission.
Historic district restrictions or.
We have to bring proposals to them because it's in the historic district.
Well, we can figure
That
out those steps.
is- For existing murals, I knew for like new things.
I think for existing
When I
murals,
contacted them, that's what they told me. I don't think they're correct. I think Amy's got it right.
We can find that out easy enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
because you think that that's like in line with what they want, like keeping
Mhm.
the things.
Right. And like I know there's a lot of different things, like especially because of how many of our older buildings are brick, that they don't ever want to paint unpainted brick. But if it's a building that already had a mural on it, yeah, it does seem it's more in line with that too.
Specifically, I'm thinking the mural on the side of the old Montecitos building,
Right.
on
Yes.
the alleyway. That
Yeah.
one should be able to be maintained without any,
Yeah. Well, and got
Well, and then
maintained.
and
Yeah,
then
it
in the
got
parking lot, the
maintained.
big Sacagawea, that's the
Yeah.
one that I was really noticing. It's big. I mean, it's crumbling and chipping, and Corey knows the individual that did that. So it's like
so.
I need to get with Corey and say, how do I get a hold of this person?
Well, I don't think he's gonna, I don't think he'll mind if it gets repainted, not by him, honestly, cause it's not like any of his
Needs to be.
current work, it's not gonna be something that he's interested in doing. But I don't think he's gonna have a problem with it being done.
Well, I'd like to maintain the. I'm lost for words.
Like the creative intent.
Thank you. Yes.
So this goal talks about encouraging building owners, but we don't have anything in there to like incentivize them
Took the words out of my
necessarily.
mouth. So
So just maybe
There again-
make that a line item. How do we incentivize business owners to?
There again, contacting owners. There's the barbershop downtown wanted to put a mural on the side of their building, and yeah, it didn't fly very far.
Like they wanted to put one there,
Yes.
so maybe downtown isn't necessarily the spot.
When it comes to the historic district, like I said, it's a whole other
It's-
kettle of
it's very
fish.
different.
But we've got all of LeGrand too. And back when I was working with Main Street, when I was going around, people outside the historic district felt very left out. They're like, why is all the focus in the historic district?
Right.
What about us? When
It definitely
when
doesn't
LeGrand
seem
put their maintenance shop down on the other side, they actually did. They put up the different mascots on their building, and it really brightened up that area. So
This might already be up there, and I'm just not seeing it. Would this be a good spot to like maybe have something in there about working with the chamber to create a map of those businesses, and that's like
Oh, that's a
like
good
where
idea.
the murals live. That's maybe part of the incentive for the business
You know, if
owners
we
is that
put-
they're
Yeah.
on that map.
If you ever
You could
talked
do
about
something
an
like
art
that.
walk or something, then
Yeah.
you could add those on the map.
Yeah, there have been a lot of different projects about different kinds of potential historic walking tours, and having like a mural walking tour kind of brochure or something like that that's like super easy to access and in front of people could be good.
well, did Jenny Mammon do that big the ghost
Yeah.
signage? And I mean, it's fabulously put together, and it just kind of went into limbo.
Yeah.
I have no idea where it went. And I'll clean these up so they actually make sense to be kind of like SMART goals. But I just wanted to get the notes down. Anything else you can think of about encouraging building owners to contact with artists and maintain murals? I'll just write not just.
How about creating a list of artists that would be willing to do murals?
Mm.
So we could send out, hey, this building's this
Uh,
person
you-
is interested.
You could have like a little mini portfolio of like
Mhm.
work that different mural artists
Yeah,
have done.
kinda like
so
what
when
we
you're
did
going to
with-
the business owner, you're like, do any of these look like they'd make your business prettier?
Right, make it easier for them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on to goal number 3 then. More dedicated spaces for public art. Maintain currently installed art in public places. Look for opportunities to install art. Objectives, in parks. Objective could be to support concerts in the park. That's it for that one. So what else are we doing for public spaces?
Did
There-
these
there
ones
is
under
more.
here?
There's like
objective 3 and
4 or
4.
5 more,
I'm
yeah.
just so dang efficient. It just tripped me up because Amy's name's specifically under that, which is weird, but anyway, there you go. Underutilized, overlooked public areas, vibrant art installations, install and encourage rotating temporary installations cycling through, which under that is, of course, collaborate with local artists and organizations to create those rotating art installations and coordinate with local businesses, develop spaces, art displays. I feel like that one was for the window space, like the vacant businesses, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not.
No, I'm thinking, you know, if you have like some of our attorneys in town have houses as businesses, there are underutilized spaces in front of some of those businesses that could be used for.
Oh, doing
Art.
like installation.
Yeah.
that one, that becomes a harder one that, as we discussed in the past, that like if it's on private property, it's a lot harder,
Yeah,
but it is not impossible.
right, then it just becomes up to the property owner,
Right.
which most of them, at least the ones I'm thinking of off the top of
Yeah.
my head, own the buildings they're in, so
And
then
it
that's
goes
a little
into-
easier.
It goes into a similar area with the murals of
Mhm.
like making sure there's incentive. Like obviously, yeah, we could just go up to them and be like, "Would you like to do this?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but then there's a lot of like legalities that have to be worked out, especially if we're all
What about
involved.
sending out like letters to them or something along those lines that we were discussing this, would they be interested?
I mean, yeah,
That's something
that
we
sort of
do
thing is
online
definitely
probably,
fine.
yeah.
You could though also say that this would be a good area, like with the murals, to have some form of incentive where it's
Mhm.
like, here's like an incentive for having a publicly available piece of art. You run into issues with like maintaining it too because it becomes it's on their property. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
so it
different
involves
things.
their homeowner's insurance and
Yeah.
business insurance and. But we don't know unless we ask. Worst they
Yes,
can tell us is
yeah.
no.
Is this goal a good spot to put things like if we did interactive art, so like we're not finding necessarily a space that is just viewable art,
Like
but
the
like
piano,
Mhm,
like the piano would be a
or
good
something
spot.
like that, so it's serving
Yeah,
like dual purpose.
yeah.
What about those business vacant windows? Is that something you guys wanna leave alone for now because of all the hassle and liability and whatever? Or is that something that needs to be added here?
I mean, if a building's vacant and not for sale, maybe the owners would be willing to have something in the window at least. Or if it is for sale, have art in the window while they're trying to sell it. It's another, I don't know how much of a hassle
It
that
gets
would
their
be,
building
but
noticed.
yeah,
It does, but it's also, if you have an artist or artists who put up work in there and suddenly the building is sold and it's gotta
It's-
get out of
it's
there
gotta
right
get out
away,
fast.
that is a huge hassle. for
especially if
them.
it's not
That's
a
huge
super
hassle.
local
Yeah.
artist, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'd almost have to do like an MOU of, okay, if you sell, we need X amount of days.
Yeah, and building owners, at least the ones I know, are not
They-
gonna want.
they don't
if
want
they-
any
They
days.
finally
Yeah.
get to unload this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
They're not gonna be,
So
they're not gonna be amenable for that.
sorry, this is your role.
Oh,
Figure out
sorry.
if that's gonna go on or not, I guess.
What do you guys think? Do you want it listed as one of the goals?
As,
Do you wanna
maybe
leave
as
it-
a possibility, but
Question mark?
a question mark possibility.
Investigate?
Investigate,
yeah.
that's a good word,
Yeah,
yeah.
I wouldn't make it an objective, I guess.
No,
Rules, laws, restrictions.
Huh?
I didn't get that. I'll have to ask Stu to give me that.
oh, I printed it off
No, I know.
Oh, okay. and brought it.
Viewable, vacant. Something like that. Cross-departmental team would be something like probably city departments, I would think.
Yeah,
So that'd be landmarks and or,
like parks and,
yep,
yeah,
yep,
and
especially.
the city planning department.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Sporting out of box projects, so say for instance, school, paths, art, what is that, presence, oh, more art presence, I think is what that is saying. I clipped it from somewhere.
I think
Presence at, more presence at farmers market festivals and events, possibly, is that what it means?
I think so.
A higher,
think so.
higher presence?
yeah, I think we had discussions around just more presence of like the arts commission, so these kinds of
Yeah, I mean, it's,
projects come to us.
Oh, I see.
well, and
Because
it's
say for
also a
instance,
matter
school
of,
one did.
it's also a matter of, just setting up a booth and saying, hi, we're here,
Yeah.
we're available. Do a day, the volunteer day it's talking about.
So is the point of this goal to support projects that come to us, or is the point of this goal to look for projects to install?
Both.
Probably both.
I guess guess that if you have more of a presence, people would know that there's an opportunity. That's why that fits there. The survey community interest, I guess that would be some sort of similar activity where you would ask people for their interest or solicit ideas.
I feel like a survey for that is gonna be tough to put together, cause what are we gonna ask
Yeah.
on it, like, hey, do you want weird art?
Right.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Yeah, it's pretty open-ended. That's a tough one.
I think it's more for
Perhaps we
people
could
who are coming-
advertise like a day at the farmer's market that, you know, hey, we're gonna be there, we're interested in volunteers, we're here, you know, something along that.
It's a,
I think
that's
it's more,
beyond our scope, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think it's more about them bringing stuff to us
Mhm.
than.
I think
But if
so.
they don't know we're here,
Right.
But I think
yeah.
they do.
And that's-
though.
and
I
that's
mean, we
where-
got the safe route to schools thing. I think they.
well,
do,
and the
we
one at
do.
the library too, yeah, good
And
point.
that is where the more presence comes in, and like, yeah, we're doing things. The vinyl racks are going up. Like,
Yeah,
there's
that's gonna be
gonna
big.
be more opportunities.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of recent momentum that I think.
To me, this one feels more passive. So, like, when the opportunity for out of the box things comes up, we can prioritize or help support that as just kind of a thing that is constantly happening.
Passive is a good word for it, yeah. It's a passive activity.
So would that mean you take this out, like attending events and things? Or
We could, because that activity is covered in other
Yeah.
portions of this.
this one could maybe go away.
Right, using a survey that we're already
Yeah,
Yeah.
instead of more presence, maybe continue presence.
Yeah, or look for opportunities to attend or outreach or,
Look for outreach opportunities, that's a good way to put it. That just kind of takes over the whole sentence.
yeah, I'll clean that up later. Okay. It's a passive, I should write that down too, probably.
And I think this one also, like, as we're doing these other things, if we find opportunity for out of the box in these other projects, like, just keeping that as
absolutely.
a filter or a focus.
Okay, this is promote art focused festival or events downtown, so
Ooh, that's a biggie too.
it's a biggie. Also, I just got a phone call from, who knows, 45 phone calls later. Somebody, the Grand Main Street's trying to do a downtown concert this year, summer concerts.
Oh, cool.
Summer. And so somebody was like, oh, so how much is that to rent Max Square or whatever? I'm like, well, you have to pay, yes, unless the city co-sponsors it. Like the Art Commission has that on their list, so it seems like the Art Commission would co-sponsor that, and then they would have to pay a fee. So then they were like, ears popped up, you know.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, that could be in exchange. You know, it's mostly just like a, you know, whatever, a mention or a logo or whatever. We would provide the insurance probably, which I don't know how that works with Main Street downtown if we do that already or not, because it's already kind of intertwined with the city. But anyway, that's an opportunity that's coming at you soon once they give me the info, probably next month. But this talks about partnering with Main Street Downtown and or city departments to create and promote at least one art-focused downtown event every year. That's a SMART goal. That's what they're all going to look like almost. Explore opportunities to integrate public art with community events. Concerts map out, so there's the calendar of events. Develop sponsorship opportunities for local businesses. Work with the Grand Main Street Downtown Promotions Committee, if they have one, and develop art-focused downtown event concepts, et cetera, et cetera. This one's a big one. So there's lots of ideas on here. There's some budget stuff, but I feel like the essence of this is just to create more events and festivals downtown.
Yep.
So what other ideas do you have? Other than,
That's pretty
That.
succinct.
yeah, because city departments are in there, La Grande Main Street downtown's in there, the chamber might need to be in there, but
$1,000 for an annual event.
I think I put that in and it's kind of a BS number. I don't know if that is sufficient or
Well, if
not.
you're promoting a concert, that's a nice amount.
But that's my question, and Steve, I think you can probably answer this probably better than anybody. Do we wanna, since this is a broad strategic plan that's supposed to go on for a few years, I'm assuming, do we wanna put numbers like that in here?
Probably not. I would just keep
Yeah.
it generic, something like,
As,
Well,
as
actually-
budget permits,
well, actually, it's the one above it. Event budget contingent on volunteer staff contributions and overall event concept.
yep, and then
Which
the last sentence can be gone.
Yep.
So that's probably already in there, to your point, Corey.
That sounds really good.
Oh, let's make that event budget that we're leaving event and promotion budget.
Yeah.
Because I think that was the only thing that was different in the second line. Because I think that's where even we would be more in our lane is
Mhm.
promoting that it exists.
I also want to add sponsorships in there
Mhm.
because that's up above somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I read it, so don't think
That's
about it.
something in our parameters too, that we can write for sponsors, to
Mhm.
sponsor things.
Sort of, not really. Your role would be that, hey, Parks and Rec, this is a priority. You need
Right.
to do that.
Okay,
Okay, last and final, goal 6. Support and develop spaces for art displays and art viewing spaces.
Is that different than
The outdoor work.
finding the? Oh, I guess that one is outdoor
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah.
Okay.
More dedicated spaces. This says develop, well,
Yeah, I think the earlier goal is more about art that you run into in the wild,
Right.
and this goal, if I understand it correctly, is
In the wild.
more
Or
about
about
think that-
intentionally.
gallery kind of like opportunities.
in the wild, I like
that
that.
way I'll remember. Okay, so here we have coordinating with public works and other city departments when new development could designate space for public art. That'd be sort of building code type stuff, or plan review, like we always make them plant more trees than they want to. That'd be a part of that plan review process. Partner with other, partner with other city departments and the Grand Main Street downtown to identify suitable locations for art installations. Those would be indoor, I guess. Clear process for selecting and commissioning public art, which.
We have that in our,
Yeah, parks, or.
the art
public
commission,
Policy.
yeah,
Yeah, we can have that. That probably should go away. Actually, we can just say use. Which would be. What the heck's it called? Public art.
Policy?
Yeah.
Policy, thank you. Too many L's. Whatever. Okay.
Autocorrect is so judgmental.
Yeah, I know. I always change Stu to Stud, so I always laugh when that. Explore opportunities to integrate public art with other community events. That's the same, that's also duplicated in an above one, so, in the one above, so I don't know.
I feel like community events is not really like.
Festivals or events.
Yeah, I feel like that's not this goal. And we do have that in something previous.
We-
yeah.
It's up above in the art focus festival.
Yeah, maybe I misinterpreted this when I was writing my thing, but I was thinking of this more as partnerships with local businesses to display art in their businesses rather than public art.
Public
the
art,
way
yeah,
I
that makes
say
sense, yeah.
Public
Yeah, yeah.
art.
Yep.
Because this seems repetitious to me of the earlier stuff,
Mhm.
and all. If this is truly what it is, then all of the stuff I wrote is just complete nonsense.
Partnership logos to integrate public art. Maybe I'll just leave it at that for now. Okay, and then also under here, here's a variety of comments. Survey delivered to downtown businesses to measure their interest in displaying the work. We kind of talked about that before, but it probably belongs here. This is more indoor. I'll tweak that. And then the survey to artists, which we have up above as well. survey possible properties owned by the city and in the city that could be, oh, an outdoor space could be built, that doesn't belong there, that goes up above. That goes performance venue up here. Wow, cool, okay, that's awesome.
Google's behaving like Microsoft Word.
I know,
What is
what
that?
are we doing, what are we doing?
Oh,
I
I
don't
think
know
you
how to fix
zoomed.
it.
I think you zoomed your
You just
tab
zoomed.
instead of zoomed your document. So do you
Yeah.
see where? Yeah.
Let me just go back to that. That's
Yeah.
Where are we? Create survey, budget for display of work with, in local businesses. Oh, wait. Budget for display of work in local businesses would be minimal unless the commission decided to create a small stipend for the artist and or business as an incentive to participate. That's fine. Budgets identify suitable locations for art installations, art selection, integration with other events or food, and difficult to identify based on multiple ambiguous costs. Corey wrote that for sure.
I did not
No.
write that one. Actually, I did not write that one. The purple one is mine, but
I think the green was mine.
Budget, what? Suitable
I think-
locations.
So what are you trying to say
That's a,
there?
that's a
Basically, it's hard
repeat
to.
of before, isn't it? Budget identity, suitable location.
It looks like it's just saying budgets are gonna be hard to nail down based on multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Which is fine, I can clean that up. Okay, and then these are kind of some of the things that I struck just because they're background information, which already is covered, and it just doesn't make sense. The budget is already gonna be covered, and then we kind of go into this benefit stuff. I'm gonna leave this alone for now. There's a lot here, and I got through some of it, but I was kind of like, I want to get those objectives done first, so we can have our plan in place. The rest of this is fluff, right?
Yeah.
Like benefits and budget and whatever. And it's important, but also it's the chat. Yeah, see, it's just like, yeah, we know we can all clean this up, but for this discussion, I don't think it's important to have right now. Potential partnerships, yeah. Okay, so that's through the goals and objectives. Any other thoughts? Okay,
Do
Did
we
you wanna
have money
talk-
to do this?
well, what's that?
We have money to do all
Well,
that?
part of the process is you have to have a plan before you get money, so
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at.
Did you want to talk timeline?
For implementation,
Mm-hmm.
I think, well, it's up to you guys. Once we get this cleaned up, we have to get it, so once it's totally cleaned up, it has to go in front of city council. So probably at your next meeting, I'll have the final version. I'll send it out ahead of time, so you can look at it. Instead of 1 or 2 days, I'll give you a couple weeks. I'll do this in the next couple weeks. And then we'll get it approved at the next art commission meeting. And then we'll go to council with it in June. And then it'll be on the books. And at that point, we can start implementation in the fall, because we usually take most of the summer off.
Cool. So we don't need like timeline to be part of this plan.
Oh.
Just do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we could, but
If council doesn't need it, if this is like these are our goals and we'll get to them as budget allows,
yeah,
like if that's strong enough, then
what do you guys wanna do? Do you wanna prioritize the timelines? Outdoor performance venue, go to 20
I
years.
I think maybe
Slash.
once we get it cleaned up and
Yeah.
then we look at it again at
Sure.
the next meeting,
Yep.
then we can set priorities, cause it
Sure.
might be, once it's cleaned up, it might be easier to see.
like oh
And,
yeah, that
yeah,
makes-
yeah,
Sure. Yeah, we're getting close.
mhm.
Okay. Alright, so that's it for this.
Great. Let's move to Arts for All then.
Yeah, it's in the minutes, so can you remind me when that is?
Okay.
It's in the minutes from last.
April 26th.
So this is just sort of a reminder, if y'all wanna help or be involved in some way, it's April 26th at Willow.
At Willow Gym, 10 to noon. Setup starts at 9:30. Teardown needs to be completed by 12:30.
Right, so if you're, yeah, we had that discussion last week, I know. Do you all wanna participate? Now's the time to say yea or nay, or Chris is on it, you know, he's doing his thing with planning, so he's now recruiting How'd you guys do that? Through businesses and
Yeah, it kind of
organizations?
depended on the year. So like one year we did like nonprofits came and they could like have their stuff if they also ran a booth. One year I think Jesse had businesses do it. One year it was me and all my friends.
Pretty sure he's looking for kind of he's recruiting nonprofit organizations. He has a few already committed, and each of them just bring their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe Right Track is on the list. Maggie seemed to be pretty positive she agreed to that.
I'm still gonna be out of town, so.
Yeah. Well, you can certainly reach out and email. That's just a reminder when it is really what it is. So let me know if you have any ideas or interest in that.
Next year when I'm not in a master's program, yes, I would like to help a lot.
Okay. The next is the single box wrap thing, right?
Oh, sorry, that's me. I'm in charge. Let's move to new business. Single box wrap design.
As soon as my eval loads, I'll show you the preliminary design. I don't know why the email shut off. Evidently I closed it. That was silly. Hey.
That's a nice view of downtown Grande.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the SAC annex was so tall.
Yeah.
Alright, so obviously the high school version is maybe when it opens. Hey. High school version looks like this.
Oh,
Obviously,
wow.
You've already seen that really in full format. But I'm assuming they're gonna stick an LG logo on there somewhere, because there's not really a logo representing the high school, so they'll probably do that.
I don't remember those two on the right.
Isn't that what's in the guy's suit? Isn't that a tiger?
Yeah,
They're all tigers.
they're all tigers. Yeah, I
But-
don't remember those two on the right.
Well, get with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I saw them, I just don't remember.
That is
Yeah.
so cool.
Well, in person, this one
that one,
was
yeah.
so like
Yeah.
fetching. Like
Yeah.
These are the only four we got, that's why I know they're the ones.
Yeah, I know, and I remember there only being four. I'm just like, why don't I remember
Yeah.
these two?
Yeah, so that's
Those are awesome.
So tonight, the chair will ask you for an official vote for all these, but just to approve the concept design, they don't have them all quite done, but they've got the middle school is here.
do you want that vote all for the whole
Yeah.
thing? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, there's middle school,
Love
we
it.
all picked,
Yeah.
and remember, these are all sides of the box.
Mhm.
And then central, let's look at mascots first. This is how she did that, because remember they're all separate pieces
Yep.
of paper.
Yep.
Because they can't follow directions. So that's
Oh, I like that.
that's probably not the lines. I don't think the lines. are
Sure.
good.
Yeah.
That's
Clean
what I was
enough.
gonna ask.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, you could certainly ask her, take the lines away, put some sort of background in there.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you want. Past, present. Okay, here's present from central. Let's blow this up for you.
Oh, I like that one too.
Oh, I like it.
I like the blue background. So if she
Yeah.
had, if she
Yeah.
had a background on the other one, I
Is
think
it-
that'd look way better.
Does it look like the background is maybe pulled from one of the pieces of art and enlarged?
Looks
Mm,
like that.
Yeah.
Maybe that top right.
the one at the
top
bottom
right.
right.
Yep. Yeah, one of those.
Let's see.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it is the bottom right actually.
Okay, so you like
Oh,
the
the
blue.
previous
Yeah.
one would look good with a blue background too.
Yeah.
Future. Oh, should have gone past. Sorry. Here's future. The blue background again.
Do the left side instead of.
Alright. So that's central's
Oh, that sounds.
Oh, you guys put these together so neat.
future and past. Is there? So there's a wagon or two and some other cool things.
So cool.
Horseback.
Yeah, if they're all
So
gonna
the blue
have the
background.
blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first one should have blue as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments for her?
Could they, I think the blue is a good idea. I'm wondering though if, while I know it can be done, I don't know if she can do it. If you, could you go back to that first one with the paw prints?
Let's do it.
It'd be nice if get rid of the borders on the drawings and put blue all the way through, right up to the
Mhm.
paw prints.
Yeah.
Oh,
Does that make
yeah.
sense?
Yes.
Make them
stand
transparent.
out.
Mhm.
Yes.
So they look like steps going
So,
up.
and these look like scanned pieces of paper,
Yeah.
and they
Yes.
won't if they're the other
Yeah.
way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
So the
What he
background
said.
just blur it so it blends.
So,
Yeah,
like,
and
so,
have
yeah,
our,
so it comes
mi-
right up to the paw, the drawing
Yeah,
instead
make-
of the border of the drawing.
Yeah,
itself.
make the backgrounds of the paws transparent.
Okay, so now you see sort of a motion and a second on that jazz to go with those designs, so then I can forward them on to ODOT when I get those, and we can get the process going.
Okay, so that's all of the things that we needed to
That's
look
all,
at.
it's all I have.
Golden. Okay,
There's no, the Greenwood had one batch, which I'm confused why she didn't give us that, cause it's just a scan, and then Island City was like this.
so I would entertain a motion to, approve these with the, requested updates.
I would move to do that.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
So we haven't gotten them all back. Those like Island City.
There's just two left, Island City and Greenwood.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave her the deadline of yesterday, but she got almost there.
Do you have any other reports?
I don't think so. Oh, I'll give you guys my big announcement report. One
Oh.
second.
Oh, shoot, I forgot to touch. Put it down.
Here's my big announcement report if I can just bring it up. And
You're not leaving, I hope.
Oh, it's way better than that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a
says-
report, I feel like it'd be like a slideshow movie.
Okay, Stu has been nominated by the governor to join the Oregon Parks and Recreation Commission. So,
Oh,
Yay!
yes.
That's exciting.
That's very exciting.
yeah, so I have to go do a Senate confirmation hearing, just like a Supreme Court justice.
Okay, but
So-
can you just like be normal?
Oh, 100%.
Great.
So speaking of normal, she sent
Please
an
tell me
email.
they're gonna like live stream it or
Yes, of
something that we
course.
can watch.
Yeah, I can play for you the next one because they just log them, you know what I mean?
We're gonna
But-
definitely have a big gym watch party, but that's fine.
Here's the thing, you're gonna love this.
And we'll bring some punch, some cookies.
So she sends an email like, "Oh, send the phonetic pronunciation of your name." So I reply, Stu, like dinner. And she was just like, "Thanks." It's like, oh well, people got a sense of humor.
How else can you pronounce it?
Well, I think that's the point. I was being silly.
Yeah.
It's probably like a form that like.
Well,
they
I'm
send
just
to
trying to
Yeah,
figure
I'm
out
sure.
why the question.
Well, I mean, it's
For a lot
for
of- well, so there's like 80 people on this list that are going to get confirmed. So there's some unique names. So they have to
and
get.
and actually, as an example, they would want to know if your name was Evie or Evie.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
but Stu?
Mine
Well,
doesn't
again,
make
it's a
sense.
form. Just they send
I
out
know,
to
and I
everyone.
just. Oh, congratulations! I'm so proud of you.
It's cool.
All right. Information. Do any commissioners have timesheets to submit?
No.
And that's for time outside of meetings.
I need to put mine together for last month.
I have mine ready and it's sitting on my desk to bring and it's still sitting on my desk.
Oh, it's
to bring.
almost as if you're about to leave the country
Yeah,
tomorrow.
weird.
Yeah, for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, almost as if. Okay, commissioner comments.
I think things are rolling along nicely. We're right on target for the signal wraps this summer. It's exciting.
All right, then if there's no argument, I'm gonna move to adjourn at 6:13.
Okay, May 14th would be your next